I see a little notification pop up that we're recording. That way we'll have this for reference for anyone who is not able to attend and for you to be able to watch. If I'm not looking directly at the camera is because I'm looking on the computer over here. So uh, if anyone has, if you have your mic on, if you wouldn't mind muting it for a second, that way we don't hear any secondary sounds. That would be great. Appreciated. And let me go ahead and share my screen here. Can everyone see that? Excellent. Excellent. All right. The link that I shared in the chat, that is, again, as I mentioned, that's going to be our reference for the session. Let me just pull it up here. If you want to save that, this is what I'm talking about. Everything that will be going through this session, we will add it here as the sessions progress. So we're going to start today really quick on Adobe Express using the templates, how you can use these in your classroom to help your students engage them, but also walk you through how to access them. But before I start, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Claudio Zavala Jr. I'm one of the Adobe Education Evangelists. I'm actually in Texas. I'm support the Midwest and been working with Karin and the team in New Mexico. So I'm supporting you all there. One of 5 throughout the country. So excited to be here and working with you all. And first off, before we get started, everyone has access to Adobe Express. You're able to join in. Do I need to walk through logging in, or everyone's okay with doing the login piece? Also, just FYI, if you have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat, and also you could give me a thumbs up there or say yes or no if it's all good. So I'm taking it we're okay with the login. So what you're looking at right now is the home screen of Adobe Express. And really quickly, one of the things that I like to point out to educators and teachers and students is when you're in here on the top right corner, you see a little avatar. If you click in there, you'll see your account, and then you'll see that you have Adobe Express for Education K-12, or in some instances, it may show premium, but it's the same thing. One of the other things that distinguishes the education accounts from public accounts or folks that purchase it for like business is on the home screen when you scroll through. And this is great because we're going to talking about templates. Is you'll see here it says templates for the classroom. It shows posters. I keep scrolling through, and then you see flyers, and then there's a little bit of a announcement of apps that you get with Adobe Express, and then infographics, resumes, and worksheets. A ton of great resources are already here on the front page of Adobe Express. And up here at the top, there's a search function, a search feature. Is you can type in any keyword and you'll have results showing up for templates for the keyword. So this will be a little participation for you all. If you maybe I'll do the first one who types in like a specific topic or subject you want to search. We'll go ahead and go that route. Also, for those of us who just joined us, if you wouldn't mind muting your microphones, that would be awesome. And it looks like Luann is typing. So, oh, there it is. So you don't have a school account. Do I need to get my district? Karin, can we make sure and kind of we'll keep some notes on those. We'll do that, Luann. We'll do a follow-up. So any specific content we want to search, and not, I'll just go ahead and pick one. Excuse me. All right. Since I'm not seeing anything in the chat, I'll go ahead and I'm going to type in social studies, or actually I'll type in history. So in here, as you can see, over 1,000 different templates that show up. And one of the great things about the EDU version of Adobe Express is the content is filtered for specifically for education and also grade levels. So if there's Any content that shouldn't be there is one of those things where we can get notification to the team. So I'll scroll through here, all the different ones. Let's see here. Tons of different ones. And right now it's like Black History Month. We got history class template over here. Let's see, introductory course. So many different ones. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and go with this one right here. I'm going to choose this one, the Ruth Bader Ginsburg template. And whenever you scroll or hover over, you're going to see it shows start from. That means that when you tap on it, when you click it, you're going to be able to basically, it's going to make a copy for you. It's basically, you're taking this template, it's going to save in your account so you can start editing. Before I do that, on the left-hand side, just really quick, you can jump to different sections of templates within here, but different categories. So if you're looking to do like a brochure project in your classroom, maybe you're studying different continents or different states, you could like activities like create a brochure for that state, book covers for like kind of your literature classes, invitations for like maybe parent meetings, open houses, back to school type of events. So that's one of the great things about this. I use that a lot there. So let's go ahead and I'll choose start from. You can feel free to follow along, to like do it yourself on maybe if you have a secondary monitor, or if you just want to watch, you can do that as well. So I'll click on start from. And right away, I have the project here. Now, one of the first things I recommend when you're working in Adobe Express is name your project. Up here at the top left, you have home projects and then my project, your little breadcrumbs. Name your project. So I'm just going to call this history report. I'm just going to type it demo. Now, the reason I recommend doing that as best practice for yourself and for your students is when you are searching your projects, if you don't name your project, it'll be called my project. And if you use Google, if you're familiar with Google, you can have multiple projects with the same name. So you want to make sure first things first, name that project. Now, right off the bat, this graphic right here, now what I can do is jump in and edit it. So this one is for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but let's say I want to change it for someone else in history. So maybe what I'll do is let's click where it says Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I'm going to type in, and I may spell her name wrong, but I'm going to type in Sojourner Truth. And underneath, wherever you see any text, as you see me clicking through here, you're able to edit those pieces. So as I'm going through here throughout the page, I'm able to click and basically get a text edit box similar to what you see in word processing tools. So over here by Hannah Hudson, and I'm going to say this by Claudio Zavala Jr. And so there. Now, if you notice right here, this box, part of my name went to the bottom. So I'm going to give you a couple of little tricks and hacks. First off, if you use on your keyboard, I'm not sure on a Windows what the equivalent are, Command Alt plus. You can do Command Alt plus and you can zoom into a project. If you do Command minus, you can zoom out so you can see your whole project. So if you're like me, wear glasses and have to squint a little, then that's a nice little shortcut to know. So Command plus, Command minus. I'll come back in here, and there's a handle here that I can stretch out, and I can make that text match. One of the nice things about this tool is not having any graphic design background, which many of your students may not, and educators as well, is you can move the piece around, and not if you can tell, you see that little pink line, it looks like little marching ants. That's a nice indication that you're aligned with the rest of the text there. So that's really neat to have that built into it. Now, for the sake of this demo here, I don't know Sojourner Truth's actual birth date or when she died, so you'll have to forgive me for that. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and leave those there, those dates. Unless someone knows, you feel free to drop it into the chat there. Another little trick that I want to show you, you might have seen this. If you hold a space bar down and you see that little, it looks like a little Mickey Mouse hand show up right there, you can move the project around without doing that right there. I don't know if you've ever done that in any tool. Like, oh, I didn't mean to move that text. If you hold the space bar down, you can move up and down on a project. So with that is great. So now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to look for a picture of Sojourner Truth. And right here, this gavel, I'm actually going to select that and just go ahead and delete that. And I'm going to leave the circle in here. I'm going to leave that in there. But over here on photos, I'm going to tap on photos, and Adobe Express has access to thousands and thousands of photos through Adobe Stock. And so let's see if I can find something with Sojourner Truth. No, I didn't see any. Let's see, and maybe I'm not sure if I'm spelling her name right. Sojourner, I think I am. Let's see. And if not, what we can do is do a quick search. Sojourner Truth. So we've got some images here. One of the important things to do is make sure the usage rights, Creative Commons license. So I'm going to go ahead and let's say pick this one right here. One of the neat things here is I can go ahead and copy the image. And I could come back here since we can't find any in here. I just realized I misspelled her name here. There you go. Thank you, Seth, for your help there. Well, now I can go ahead and I can just paste the image. So here is that one that I just copied from the web, making sure I have the Creative Commons use for it. And just share a little trick here. I'm going to increase that size, make it a little bit larger. And I'm going to use this right here on the right-hand side, this little menu option, which says Edit Image. I'm going to choose to crop this. When you do that, you have all these different options of crop shapes and ratios. Since I have that purple circle, I'm going to tap on circle and just make some adjustment here. Maybe make the circle a little bit smaller. Adjust her photo, and then click on the check mark. And now I've got her picture cropped. And I'll do a little resize, drop it right about there. And just add it as a nice little graphic design right there, that little extra circle around. So what I will do is go through here and change this project up to make it I would say applicable to Sojourner Truth, but it's just a quick demo on how you can take a template that's there and then change it up and make it your own. Now, before I continue, I was going to stop here for if there's any questions. I'm just looking in the chat. Don't see any, but I always like to call out if there's any questions. You can feel free to drop it in the chat or unmute yourself and ask the question. Let's do the little wait time for the question. Excellent. Okay. So far, so good. Now, I'm going to show you this is a little hack that I like to show to quickly make this project, really give it an instant change just by a simple one button tap or click. And that is by using colors. what I need to do first off is make sure that I don't have anything selected. So I've noticed whenever you tap on an object, notice how the menu changes over there on the right-hand side. So what I want to make sure is click, I call this no man's land, or the no zone, just making sure nothing is selected. And then I choose colors. And this is the colors that are currently in this project. And so by one instant click, what I'm doing is scrolling through all these different color palettes, finding one that I like. Let's see, let's go retro. Maybe one of these right here, that one right there. So what happens? I'll click on it and the project instantly changes. And that right there, already you've made it your own just by choosing a different color. And this little button right here, which is shuffle, when you click through, and that actually looks pretty good. And one of the nice things about this is Adobe Express is using colors that are complementary with each other. So when you look at those colors, when you pick them, you can know that there's that algorithm's gone through and looked at those colors to see that they match together. And it's just a matter of you clicking through and finding the the combination that you like until you get, again, this is one of those things where you can sit through here and click away until, I mean, you can do this for hours until you find the one you want. So I'm going to stop right there and pause for a second and just see if there's any question before I move on. Anything specifically you've been wondering within Adobe Express. So I just took a quick template, took it, made it my own, changed the text, changed her photo. And again, I'm not going to sit through here and change every single text, and you'd just be watching me edit, but I just wanted to show you the main things you can do here. One thing I will show here, let's go ahead and do this one right here. Let me zoom in here, because this is always something that's tricky for folks, is when you look at text. For example, this one right here is a text box. And then when you look at this one, how people's lives were changed because of this person, when I click on there, that is also a text box. But if you notice, there's a difference between the two. This one right here has a background box around the text, whereas this one is just your plain text. And that's accomplished by using effects in your text box. So for example, right now, this text right here, there's no effect on it. If you notice right here, there's an effects button. And if I turn on the slider, there is now a shape behind it. However, the shape is the same color. So let's go ahead and change that. So now you notice how there's a shape, and let me turn it off again. And now it's back on. So that's how this is accomplished right here. Now, if I want to make that match, I would change this to a white color, and then I would change the color of the text to match this one. So just know when you see text and some of it may have a box around it, a shape around it, there's two places where you would change the color. Now, if you don't want a box around the shape, so for example, this one right here, you can select a different shape. Let's make it have an ovalish shape. You can either have parallelograms, and then you have the banner style. That's like the one that's up here at the top where it says research report. That's just a shape around the text. Let me go back and let's undo to go back to the original one, which is there. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this shape off and get back to the original color. So that's a little tip within the text. The star right here, that is a shape. So whenever you tap on an object and shows shape, if you don't like that shape, you can delete it or click on replace. And let's say, so Sojourner Truth, remember, like she had the Underground Railroad, they have travel. Let's think of maybe a cabin here. So like let's say, let's have a cabin here. I'll choose this one right here. And this will automatically change whatever color that was. It'll just take that attribute with that shape itself. There's also another shape back here. I don't know if you can see that star right there. That star, you notice right here, there is opacity. You can make it less opaque. You can give it full color. Just know that you're able to do that as well. So let's show you right here. Let's do it with this one right here. Same thing with text. You can make text less opaque and full transparent. Let me zoom out. Command minus. And I'll pause here for a second if there's any questions. Nothing. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is, so I have this project and the students have completed it and you want them to share it with you, or maybe you have an assignment for teachers as well, and you want them to turn this assignment or share this project with you, or maybe share it with parents or submit it into whatever learning management tool you have. So the options are, when you choose to download, you can download this as a file that will be saved to computers. Now, if you're using Chromebooks, you're probably going to be limited on how much storage can be on Chromebooks. So this will just depend on the devices the students have. But you have options to do PNGs, JPEGs, and PDFs. PDFs are going to be the best option for printing. So if you're going to print this, then I would choose the PDF. JPEG and PNG are your photographic formats. A PNG transparent, what would happen is if I download this project, this greenish color background would not download. It would just be basically transparent. So that's great. Like if you ever want to create a logo and share it on a letterhead or something like that. Otherwise, I would just choose one of the other formats. Now, to share it virtually, to share it on the web, and you'll click on share, excuse me, and you will publish this project. When you choose to publish this project, you are basically creating a web link specifically for this project. It will have its own unique web address. And here's some social sharing, but here's Google Classroom. And then here's a team. So if you use Teams, Google Classroom, you can assign it directly from within here to share, to send it. And this right here, the link, when I click on link, that's taking a little while for it to save here. Let's try that one more time. Publish. There we go. Update this link. Give it a few seconds. Yeah, I'm going to see what's happening on this one. Let's go back. Here it is. So let's take a look. Let's see. I'm getting an error for this project, so let's try it one more time. Interesting. Karn, we'll have to see what's happening here. So what I'm going to do is download this. And let's open up this file. There's the final project. So now this is, if you notice, this is the PNG. So what I would do is attach this within my learning management system. Right now, I'm not sure why it's not letting me share it. I have to see the file. Okay. We've got 5 minutes to go. So what I'm going to do is kind of pause here and do some, if there's questions. This is a very quiet group. So Karin, is there anything you want, you have a question about or share with the group, or anyone in the group has a question, feel free to drop it in the chat.
So there was a question about a teacher shared a template with her students and then received emails asking her to join the students' teams. Is that because she's a co-editor on that template?
Let's see. Well, whoever shared it, was it shared through like make the template here, or?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it depends. Through Google Classroom. Bernadette, do you have the Google Workspace? It could be several things, Karn. It could be several things. It could be that if you're using the workspace, the Adobe Express built-in feature within Google Classroom, it would say not force, but the students would have to make a copy of it. But in your case,
BJ.
But Bernadette, if that's happening to you, and they're sharing it, it could be because you're sharing the project with someone else.
I thought I was in school when I was going to do this during my prep.
See, I did ask for a copy made for every student. Okay. What happened? We may have to do a follow up there, Bernadette, to check that.
Got some salsa?
Any other questions? Luann, we're going to do different ones every session. Yeah, they'll be different. And if through the feedback, so let me go ahead and do that now, Karin. On the document that I shared at the beginning of the session, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's information on extending your own learning, but right here, it says, please fill out this quick form about today's session. If you click there, it'll take you to this form that you can fill out.
So you tell me what you think. Now that it's cooked together, I think it's better now it's cooked together. I didn't know.
And this form will give us the opportunity to create some more PD opportunities that you want and will help you out in your classrooms. So definitely, if you don't mind taking a few minutes to fill that out, it will help us out to make sure we get you what you need.
Shannon, the form is at the very bottom here, but I'll go ahead and sometimes it doesn't work in the chat. But we'll drop it in the chat as well. But the form will be at the very bottom of the link I shared at the beginning. And let me go ahead and drop that in again. So that last link I shared is this document. If you scroll all the way to the very bottom, there's the quick form link right there. And what we'll do is after this session, it's being recorded as I'll be sharing these with Karin and have a place for those videos to live so you can follow back up. And that brings us to our time, because that goes super fast.
Absolutely. And just so for those of you that joined us after I made my original announcement, my name is Karin Gustafson. I am the Customer Success Manager for Create New Mexico. I am going to put my email and phone number in the chat. In case you have any questions or anything, you can email me directly, or you can call me if you're having issues, or simply if you're looking for PD on a specific content area that I can help you with. I'm happy to help you out with those things.
I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here.